Hi, hello, and welcome back to Dani-mite Bakes. I am really excited to be doing a baking video finally for you guys. I have decided to do a 3-layer kitty cat cake because my friend is having her birthday at the end of the month and she has always been a huge cat fan. And I thought that this would be a great way for not only her to have it, but her and her fiance are needing to try some of my stuff because I'll be baking their cake for them. So I thought, what better way to give them a cake testing than to make a birthday cake? So let's go to the kitchen and let's get started. All right, so welcome to my kitchen. I am aproned up and I have all of my stuff laid out in front of me so that we can have some fun baking. So we're gonna be doing just a plain simple chocolate cake today because chocolate is not only my favorite, but also my friend's favorite. And I've really liked this recipe and I wanted to share it with you guys. So first I'm gonna start off with a full cup of cocoa because I'm doing the 3 layers. So I have doubled my normal recipe and I'm gonna be adding it into a large bowl. And then I have heated up a 1.5 cups of milk. You want it to be hot but not boiling because this is gonna help you break down the cocoa and help it mix. Now I like to do this step first because you then have to allow the chocolate to cool. And so this way you can kind of have it sitting while you prep up your dry ingredients. By the way, I will be putting the recipe down in the description box below, so if you would like to follow along, feel free. So I have another clean bowl here, and I'm going to be dumping in 2 cups of flour, and then 1 teaspoon, not tablespoon, very important, of baking soda, as well as a teaspoon of salt. And then with the same whisk, because it's all going in the same place anyways, I just give it a nice stir to incorporate all the dry ingredients together so that you don't get any clumping, which is really important with cakes, until I have a nice incorporated mixture. All right, now that my chocolate mixture has cooled down, I am gonna add in my 2 cups of sugar and my 1.5 cups of vegetable oil. I'm gonna give that a quick mix here before I add in my vanilla and my eggs to make sure that the oil and the sugars have homogenized with the chocolate. And my 2 eggs. And now that that's done, I am gonna add in my dry ingredients into my wet. I'm gonna switch from my whisk now that it's almost fully incorporated to a rubber spatula just to really make sure I get all of the flour in. I have sprayed my pan with Pam and now I'm going to show you a trick to make sure that your parchment paper fits into your pan. So you are going to fold a piece of parchment paper into quarters, and then I am going to make triangles, kind of like how you used to do when doing snowflakes back in school. Nice and tight. And then if you line up this with the center of your cake pan and cut, you will be left with a perfect circle that will fit in the bottom of your pan. All right, so you can see I have my 3 cakes leveled here, and now to start, I am gonna put just a dollop of my buttercream down to act as my glue onto my disposable cake plate. And I'm going to take one of my cakes, let's do you, and put it down. Gonna wiggle it around. All right, we love icing, so go around, and I like to do as Rosanna Pansino does, where I do a good little zigzag there. So now I'm just going to give this a nice little spread to make it even using just gentle pressure, and I have it on a turntable here so that I can spin it around to make sure it's nice and even so that my layers apply evenly. We are going to do a crumb coat. So what I have done is I have all my white icing in a piping bag. And now I am just going to fully cover my cake This is why I like a turntable, because you can really get all the way around without having to do too much movement. Make sure you can just keep a very consistent pressure. So once I have piped it, I'm going to just use my offset spatula again. And one tip that I learned was never to lift your spatula, because that's how crumbs will also get transferred. And you want to just make this pretty even. We're not going to be using fondant as part of the decoration, so you don't have to worry about it being completely smooth, because we'll be doing that with the actual real buttercream layer. So I'm just kind of going and making sure that all of my cake is covered. And the reason I'm doing this crumb coat is it's collecting any of the extra chocolate that oozed out from the middle layers. And so this way we will not have to worry about any of that discoloring our final product. So I'm going to do pink on the bottom, and I'm going to have it go up to white. So let's see if this works. All right, that is smooth and gorgeous. Don't want to make this top too thick, because I will be doing all of the flowers on top. So let's just make sure that it looks pretty. It covers up all that crumb coat. All right, so we're going to give our kitty some florets. So I'm just going to take my star tip with my colors, and I'm just going to make little tight circles all over the top here. Right now I'm just going to do all my blues. Maybe some of these guys, which I can always go back in to do more of as well. I'm going to bring some down in the front. Now, if you don't want your colors mixing, you can let them dry for about 10 minutes in the air while you are going about your dime, so that then all the colors kind of crust again, like I said. But I kind of like the blending a little bit, because I do have my extra special mixed colors that I do want to take a look at here after I do a couple more. All right, here is the moment of truth. So I have my tri-colored tip here. I'm gonna try to get even pressure. Oh, it is so beautiful. I'm gonna give this hack a big old thumbs up. So I've rolled out a little bit of white fondant here, and I've cut out a stencil, and I am just going to trace along the stencil line into my fondant with a sharp knife, being very careful. Of course, keeping it in place, you know, that's always really fun. One cat ear. Now I've rolled out 2 fondant balls so I can make some toes. So just using the back of a knife, I made one little kitty paw here, and I'm gonna make another one and show you guys. So I've rolled it out smooth, and now I'm just using the back of a knife, and I'm just creasing my ball into sections, because, you know, toes. And then I just cut off the back of the ball so that it will sit flat, because these are going to be the little toes peeking out of my thing. And now after all of this, so like I said, I have my ears, they're drying on the back of a spoon. I have my 2 paws, and I'm just going to roll out a small little tail to go. So I'm gonna grab some more fondant and just work it a bit. I'm gonna make a little snake. I have used some powdered sugar on my work surface so that it's not going to stick. And I think that's a good size. So we'll just, again, we'll try to mold it so that it will start to dry in the shape that we like. And I will be back. Now I'm gonna take my little kitty paws and I'm gonna press them, make sure they're right way up into the front of my cake. And I'm gonna put my tail along the back and the side. Just gonna join it in there. All right, so you'll see I already have one eye there and a nose because I was testing my edible marker. So I am just gonna do the other eye here. Anybody else feel like when you're doing your winged liner that it's just like you have one that's perfect and then you try to do the other one and it just is not doing what you want? That's kind of how I feel this is going. I probably could have had a better result too if I waited for my buttercream to dry a little bit more, or I could have alternatively made a little bit of fondant for where the eyes are going to be. But I have two eyes and a nose. And I have never used this before, and so I thought it would be really fun to do as a trial. Because like I said, this is just for my friend. And I think it looks pretty amazing, even with the little bits of problems. Give it a little mouth. So my ears are now ready, so I'm just gonna use my pink, and I've put on a smaller detailed tip, and I'm just gonna put it in the middle. And then I actually have this awesome clean brush just for my cakes. And I'm just gonna spread the icing around and kind of brush it. Okay, and put the second ear. Hi guys, editing Danielle here. Sorry I lost my voice. You probably heard at the end of the clip I started sounding a bit hoarse. I forgot to say thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked the video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did, and subscribe, share, and I will be seeing you guys all next week. At the bottom, so that when you open this up, I did it wrong.